What is up, you guys? We are back, and today we are talking about a very interesting book. It is called Foe by Ian Reed, and it is just so interesting. They recently made a movie about it with Paul Mescal, and who's the girl? The girl is somebody that I should know as well. But I can't remember. A blondie, I think. Anyway, it doesn't matter. The movie got terrible reviews. And honestly, the book might be fractionally better than the movie. I just right out of the gate, I don't think I'd recommend this book. It's a very, very frustrating read. Or at least for me it was, because I didn't understand what... Like, I understood. The story is very easy to understand, but the actions of the people, I'm like, no, that wouldn't happen. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't say that. Like, do something. I don't know. We'll go over many of my quotes here. That it's just frustrating. It's short. And each chapter is also very short, so you could finish it really quickly. Let me tell you how many pages it is. It's 260 pages, but the text is big, and like each chapter is like 3 pages long. I think this is a relatively new book. Let me see when it was published. 2018. Yeah, pretty new in terms of books. So the story, basically, let's just do a really basic overview of the story, and then we can hop into... I think that sun is gonna hit the camera soon and make everything awful. Hold on, I think that should help. What was I saying? Oh, just a basic overview of the story is there is this man and this woman. They live on a very remote farm out in the middle of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, and they're husband and wife. All of a sudden, and their names, sorry, I'm so scatterbrained. Their names are Junior and Hen. Hen, short for Henrietta. And out of nowhere, I think it's Junior who sees the lights first. They see 2 car lights coming down their long drive, and they're like, we never get visitors, what's happening? And it's this guy named Terrence. Terrence is a guy with a ponytail that is here to tell Junior that he has been selected to go to the moon. No, just kidding, not the moon. To outer space. It's an outer space mission. And it's completely random, and he has been selected. I think they call it like the installation or something. He's been selected for the installation, and it is a very, like, he should be happy about this information, because how did he get so lucky, you know, to be selected to go for the installation? And Junior's like, no, I don't know if, like, I don't really know what that entails, or like what that means. And then Terrence says, don't worry, we'll leave Henrietta a perfect copy of you, a biochemically exact copy of the person that you are, to make sure that she doesn't get too lonely while you're here, watch over things, blah, 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 blah. Like, life should be relatively normal while you're up there. And it's just for 2 years, and then you'll come back and replace the robot. And oh, it's just at the end, literally the last 2 pages, it explains everything, and it's like, oh my gosh, that is the reason why this book was driving me insane. Let's get into it though. Oh, and then Junior is obviously like, no, I don't want that to happen. Like, that's weird. And that is basically the entire story. And Terrence, here's an issue, I think, too, with it being a frustrating to be on the outside. Because if you're there with Junior, you're like, Junior, stand up for yourself. tell Terrence no, kick him out of your house. Like, he showed up here, like, just refuse. But he never, like, it's so frustrating to just watch from the outside. You're like, I don't know. And Terrence hated him. I think that's the issue. That's what I was gonna say, is that none of the characters are likable. Not even Henrietta. And the first thing that you'll notice, this is on page 12. I wrote, I don't know if you can read that. He says, why doesn't he speak with quotes? And I thought that I read Sally Rooney's Normal People, and they don't speak with quotes either. And that drove me crazy. So I was thinking that this was going to be like that. Anyway. Things are off with their relationship a little bit, and then, like, because he says that he'll be replaced for 2 years. He's just gonna, the installation is for 2 years, and then they'll come back. Okay, so that's 2 years. 2 years pass, or around 2 years. Or does he say, I'm pretty sure he says, in 2 years, we're going to send you up to the installation. You'll be up there for 2 years, and then whatever. Terrence, after 2 years, comes back and is like, hey, I need to live at your house with you and Henrietta. And of course, Junior, just being the doormat that he is like, my house is your house, blah, 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 blah. And then he's like, wait a second, something fishy's going on here. I'm not going to spoil it, but on the off chance that you do read this book, which I don't know. If you've watched the movie, let me know if I should watch it. I don't think I should. I've heard it's short, which, I mean, at least there's that. At least you don't have to endure for too long. Similar to the book, like, you don't, like, 258 pages of agony, and then the last 2 pages are like, wait, that's actually kind of crazy. He just really is a doormat. Anyway, Terrence says, this is just an example, it says, the installation involves a certain amount of risk, but safety and overall well-being, these are our biggest concerns. I can't emphasize this enough. I've decided early on that negligence would be unacceptable. Even more than research for results, taking care of our lottery winners is of utmost importance. You have to believe me, okay? I say this as a friend. Of course, Junior in his mind says, you're not my friend, I think. Like, that's what he narrates this. He's like, you're not my friend, I think. Wait, does that make sense? He's not saying that out loud. He's thinking in his mind that you're not my friend. And I'm like, just say it. Tell this weirdo with, I'm sure, a greasy ponytail to get out of your house. And yeah, he's doormat to Henrietta. He's a doormat to everybody. An interesting quote here. This doesn't really have to do too much with the story. It says, the privilege of being a human is that our brains are big enough to decide the fate of other creatures. And I think Ian Reid knows that this book is frustrating. And he knows exactly the reason why, because he says, there, it's the first time I've been so direct with him. The first time I've brought it up, the replacement. I don't know why I do it now, but I suddenly felt an overwhelming urge to ask. And it's like, okay, we're 150 pages in and you still aren't that direct. And him and Henrietta's communication with each other, he says, she says, you like my playing, and like so many things, you think it's good for me, but it isn't. It doesn't help me feel better. I don't even like sitting down here, and you can be completely oblivious about this kind of thing. Whether you realize it or not, there are so many instances when I've expected you to understand how I'm feeling, and it just doesn't happen. It's so discouraging, draining. It's like, as long as we're home, moving from day to day, you're convinced that I'm happy. Honestly, I rarely feel happy. And I'm like, oh my gosh, open your mouth and communicate with each other, people. You're driving me crazy. Junior says, is that what I'm doing? Am I just doing what he tells me to do? Yes, you are. What else? And Terrence, his like whole job is like get to know Junior better so that he can create a better replacement for Junior when he leaves, and he's so bad at asking questions. At the end, it says he inserts the device into my ear before I can protest. I'm like, turn around and punch that man in the face. Respectfully. Page 197, I want to question his demand, tell him no, resist, but again, pathetically, I have complied and done as he asked. I'm just like, pick yourself up from off the floor. Page 200. I want to ask him what's going on, demand him he tell me, tell him to leave my home, tell him he has no right to be there. Notice it says, I want. And it's like, we've been doing this for 200 pages. You've been thinking those things in your mind for 200 pages, but instead you just comply with everything that he says. Page 203, why am I allowing him to control me? Anyway, that is basically the whole story. There is a twist at the end, and it is kind of like, whoa, but I don't think it's not satisfying enough to endure 258 pages of like what is actually going on. And also too, if you've read this, there is this symbol that's used of a beetle, of a big beetle, and it appears in the book often. I don't know what it means, but do you? Let me know. I'd be interested to see what you think, why it's in there. I'm sure it's like, I don't know. Yeah, I don't want to say anything to give it away, but I think I know what it means, but I don't. Yeah, it's just odd. It's just odd. I've heard that I'm Thinking of Ending Things is a great book by the same author, so maybe I need to read that one. But this one, I don't know if it did it for me. Let me know what you think. Let me know what book I should read next. Give me your thoughts. I'd love to chat in the comments. I recently posted a book review on the Book of Mormon, and why did it get so many views? I'm scared and too many people were commenting. Just kidding. I literally was like 5 people, but like, yeah, I don't know. Anyway, this is called Carson Reads. It's called Carson Reads because I'm Carson. I read, I try, and we'll chat next time. Ciao.